Today on the CTV News at 5, Beat the Heat, how Southern Albertans are handling the heat wave and a province-ordered power outage. Plus, Dragons take over Henderson Lake. And the Lethbridge Steel are headed to the Western Women's Canadian Football Championships.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The hot weather is putting the heat on Alberta's power grid. The province has ordered ENMAX to implement rolling power outages in Lethbridge, Calgary and Edmonton to avoid overloading the grid. The rotating blackouts began in Lethbridge around 3 o'clock this afternoon. They're for half an hour to 45 minutes each. Here's a list of the communities affected: Paradise Canyon, Sunridge, Riverstone, Indian Battle Heights, Mountain Heights, Ridgewood Heights, Varsity Village and Riverstone, although outages could go citywide. At this point, we don't know how long the rotating outages will last. And here are some power outage tips. Make sure you keep your doors and blinds and drapes closed. Keep your refrigerator and freezer doors closed as well. Most of the food in your fridge will last 24 hours with the exception of dairy products, and they should be thrown out after 6 hours. Open windows on non-sunny sides of your home for a cross breeze. And you're being urged to shut off all appliances that are not crucial to help lessen the provincial power load. Police are also reminding motorists to treat intersections where the lights have gone out as a four-way stop. Well, it seems like the scorching summer temperatures are here to stay, at least for a few days. Dozens of kids filled up Westminster Pool this afternoon to try and beat the heat. City pools, spray parks, and area lakes were packed as people tried everything to keep cool. Today's temperature reached 31 degrees. It wasn't a record, but it did force many people to find their own way to slave off the heat.
Just go to the pool and have fun.
Well, I plan to jump in the pool quick before I get out on deck. Other than that, the best thing is around the water that I can tell so far.
Hop in Westminster.
Well, we come down here. I've got lots of family and friends, but we've been coming to Westminster Pool for forever. Since I was a kid, we've been coming here. And I've got my daughter here now with her children and all my grandchildren, so this is the place to be.
Environment Canada has issued a humidex advisory for much of central and southeastern Alberta as the heat and humidity combine to make temperatures uncomfortably warm. Temperatures forecasted to rise into the low 30s tonight, although with elevated humidity levels, they'll make temperatures feel more like 40 degrees Celsius. Here are the southern Alberta communities under the warning: Brooks, Vulcan, Medicine Hat, Bow Island, Suffield, Cypress Hills Provincial Park, and Foremost. Well, Dory, everybody's talking about the hot weather.
Yeah, I remember, several weeks ago when they were complaining about the rainy weather. So, we've got now what Eastern Canada had been experiencing last week, not as stifling because our humidity levels aren't as elevated as what we had seen down east. But still, for a lot of folks, it's way too hot. So try to keep as cool as you can, drink lots of water, and slap on that sunscreen. I'll have more information coming up in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. A Mexican man charged with a murder in Shaughnessy nearly 2 years ago made a brief court appearance today. Luis Ochoa Gomez is charged with second-degree murder in the shooting death of 24-year-old Mario Hernandez Renteria. Renteria was gunned down in the town of Shaughnessy in October of 2010. Ochoa Gomez was arrested almost a year later, trying to cross the American border into Mexico. He's hired a new lawyer to represent him, and his case will now return to court on July the 23rd. Well, spontaneous combustion is being blamed for a fire that caused more than $200,000 damage to a home in West Lethbridge. The Friday afternoon blaze caused extensive damage inside the garage and then spread to a deck just above the garage. And there was also extensive heat and smoke damage to parts of the home. No one was at the home at the time. The family's dog, though, did not survive. Fire investigators were back at the scene today, and they've ruled out electrical or mechanical causes. They say it appears the blaze started in the garage where materials that had been used for staining were being stored.
Well, what happens is when this product sits there, it actually builds up bacteria, and it has to have heat and the exact amount of right of humidity, and then it'll spontaneous ignite when it gets to its ignition temperature. And then what it needs is oxygen. And there's actually a patio above the garage that had some drain holes, some drainage areas that we noticed that there was quite a bit of charring and singeing around that. So it looks like that the fire was trying to feed off of that oxygen, and it created enough heat. And then we're pretty confident that it vented out the side east wall window.
To a story out of Brooks now, where a legal defense fund has been established in support of a man who's trying to clear his name after being accused of sexually molesting his children 21 years ago. The man had his son and daughter removed from the home by social services, but the charges were stayed a year later. Ken Koza says his life has been destroyed by the allegations, and he's been searching for answers ever since. Both children, who are now grown, have maintained a relationship with Koza. For more than 2 decades, he's been calling for an independent investigation into how RCMP, social services, and school officials handled the matter. Koza, who has suffered 2 nervous breakdowns and can no longer work because of health issues, says he hopes to raise enough money to fund a lawsuit that he hopes will set the record straight.
Accused of a crime, one of the most heinous crimes on earth, as a child molester, which I never did. And the RCMP did a very poor investigation, investigating anything or social services. So once you're labeled a child molester, it don't go away, ever. So it stays in your mind, like, all the time, and it don't leave.
Koza suspects he may have been targeted by individuals who were trying to gain financially from having him arrested and jailed. But he says RCMP have told him that the case is closed. A fund to help with Koza's legal fees has been set up at the Brooks Scotiabank. Well, Lethbridge City Council has authorized the administration to look into the cost of pursuing a high-level dream for some city residents. A delegation appeared before council this afternoon proposing the city consider building a new high-level pedestrian bicycle bridge over the Old Man River. Supporters say a coulee-top bridge 3,000 feet long and 300 feet high could open up the river valley to unlimited access and opportunity. The city administration has been asked to report on the cost of doing a functional study design, but councillors say that doesn't mean they're supporting the project just yet.
We've heard from the group. We want to have further information about costs and about feasibility, but also we want to hear from the rest of the public that is supporting other projects that may or may not think any of these projects are worthwhile, but certainly the council will have to make a decision, almost certainly this project in comparison to other projects, so I want to hear feedback from the public.
The people that are curious about it, the people that need more information, we want to hear from those people. We want to share our idea, our passion, and our vision with those people.
Now, the administration is going to look at the costs associated with conducting the study and is expected to report back to council in October. Canada's new tighter mortgage rules went into effect today. As of today, the maximum amortization period drops from 30 years to 25 years, and homeowners can take out less of the equity in their homes. The government says the goal is to prevent Canadians from incurring too much debt, and a recent poll shows the new rules are already working. 45% of prospective home buyers said the changes mean they'll probably take out a smaller mortgage. 14% say it will keep them out of home ownership altogether.
The mortgage regulations so that we don't have to affect our entire economy. I mean, the economy's in rough shape.
The Bank of Montreal surveyed Canadians about mortgage rules. 49% say they are unfamiliar with the new regulations. 55% don't know the maximum length for a mortgage is now 25 years. Despite those numbers, 2/3 believe they are familiar with current mortgage rules. If you're having trouble going online today, you may be a victim of malware that took over computers around the world more than a year ago. Now, despite repeated alerts, about 9,000 Canadians could be affected, more than 270,000 people worldwide. The problem began when hackers ran an online ad scam to take control of infected computers. The FBI's temporary safety net expired this morning. If you have the virus and didn't get rid of it before today, you'll have to take your computer to an expert to get the malware removed. Dragons swarmed Henderson Lake this weekend to compete in one of the fastest growing sports in the world. Alicia Fieldberg found out why Lethbridge's Dragon Boat Festival is considered one of the best.
Paddles splash to the beat of a drum as dragon boats race down Henderson Lake. it's just the blast. It's 2.5 minutes of go like crazy.
65 teams of 22 plus hundreds of family, friends and spectators gather at the lake for a weekend of competition and entertainment. Lethbridge's Dragon Boat Festival is the largest in the province. Many competitors say it's also one of the best in the country.
You look at the combination of both the festive atmosphere, the food, the entertainment, and the racing. It's probably one of the best festivals in Western Canada for that, because it's not about just racing, it's not about just fun, it's a little bit of everything.
All the out-of-town teams, all the camaraderie within the groups, it's a lot of fun.
1, 2, 3, This team of breast cancer survivors say the relaxed festival atmosphere encourages bringing new and experienced paddlers together. It's just one of the reasons Dragon Boat is really catching fire.
I've never raced before in anything, actually, and so when I got into the boat I was nervous, but once I got out there and everybody and the boat was surging and we were all paddling at the same time as a unit and you feel the boat gliding on there, it's just unbelievable.
Dragon Boat's one of the fastest growing team sports in the world because it offers people of all ages and abilities the chance to compete together in a fun atmosphere.
If I stop paddling, I don't get left behind. Everybody's involved and everybody gets to come together. Can we all paddle together? So it's a beautiful sport that way.
I just want to show my children that even though you're sick and you watched your mom go through cancer and chemo, that I'm okay and I can do a lot of stuff, and I want them to see their mom doing that.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Lethbridge's festival was one of the inspirations for residents of Kalispell, Montana to host one of their own in September, and 4 Lethbridge teams are registered to attend. Coaldale's Main Street was a dentist's dream this weekend. Hundreds of kids armed with plastic bags lined the curbs for this year's Settler Days Candy Parade, and they were certainly not disappointed as more than 2,000 pounds of candy rained down from the passing floats. The Settler Days Parade transformed into a candy parade in the late 80s and has been one of the Coaldale community's biggest attractions ever since. Settler Days also includes a slow pitch tournament, midway, and pancake breakfast. And to the markets now, where we did see some rebounding thanks to some reassurances with the euro. Here are the closing numbers.